New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Ministers Talking a weekly program where Rev BRZ and Rev Z and their guests chat about current affairs, world events, spiritual principles, and any old they want to talk about. Based on the New Thought philosophy and ancient wisdoms, Ministers Talking shares a visionary perspective of the evolving spiral called spiritual living. Join us each week as we explore the emerging paradigm of life on planet Earth and beyond.
And hello again, dear ones. Dr. Robert with you over here.
Rev Z right here.
And this is Ministers Talking Shit for November 29th. This is it. November's over. It's the holiday season. Here we are. Happy Thanksgiving, Z.
Happy Thanksgiving. I tell you, it's a great time to be alive, because being alive is always a great time if you even with the ups and downs.
Even with the ups and downs, yes. But we're not going to talk about Israel today. So we're going to we're going to talk about Black Friday to get us started actually today, folks. And I would love for you to join in, drop a comment in the comment box, leave a message, join the conversation. If you're watching live, if you're watching on a replay, feel free to leave a comment as well. So there we are. Okay, see, so we know that Black Friday is not inherently a racist day. It doesn't harken back to racial slurs and language, but in today's world, is not only Black Friday just become a disgusting idea, or is it? To me, it is. And
well, go ahead.
And I just want to find another term for it. Like,
yeah. Well, in terms of the term and being racist, now that is, I don't think, out of all the things that are called black,
this is the one that's
racial tinge to it. This
right.
is the one that's not. The Black Friday, as I understand it, stands for an accounting. It's an accounting term, being in the red and being in the black. And so Black Friday is when they get an opportunity to get rid of some red by selling a bunch of useless stuff most of the time that you don't need. I mean, that's, the whole commercialism of these holidays now has gotten, it's contributing in a lot of, like, to disrespect of the planet, because we're creating tons of stuff that's not going to be used. Everything now is throwaway. Even the phones are throwaway. You get a phone at $1,500. In 2 years, 3 years, it's throwaway. It's throwaway.
My phone's totally paid for. I got no payments left on my phone, and it's still working perfectly. So don't tell my phone that it's not supposed to work anymore.
Okay, but it's so the Black Friday term really is, I think, as we sit here and look at things that are current, if you will, and put them in a spiritual perspective, so that we can cope. Not cope is the wrong word. So that we can deal and thrive in any kind of environment. And so when we get jacked up in a contest of who can buy the most, who can show off the most, who can be on the bling the most, or whatever, to the detriment of the planet, the people, the culture, uh, the camaraderie ship, then it's in a bad place. And we have to begin to look at it like some of the good news that you put out on Friday. How do we, how do we get beyond a ceasefire, not ceasefire, okay, another ceasefire, and then the president calling various leaders right after he got elected, not through the normal protocols, right? Uh, and now we got crazy people doing this swatting thing on both Republicans and Democrats. I mean, we have lost our goddamn mind.
Somehow I had a feeling you were going to say that today.
Oh
because
my God.
it does feel like that in some ways, with everything that's going on, but we're still like totally enamored and wrapped up in a massive sale on a TV that we don't need. Bedroom
Yeah.
where we don't, where for the bedroom where we should be sleeping. I don't know about you, but I've never been a TV in the bedroom kind of guy. And
To
my
a
wife,
Black Friday?
we still don't do a TV in the bedroom thing. It just
Yeah.
like, why do you need another? How did Jimmy Buffett say it? I don't need another 48-ounce Coke with cherry flavor. Like it.
Here's a real, when we talk about right now, right? Let's just start right now. Let's not, because we got a lot of right now going on that we don't need to go nowhere else. But when we look at we understand as metaphysicians, right? Ministers talking shit from a real global perspective. We understand the flow from a physical to the invisible, right? But the current news is stuck in the physical, right? These political parties there was very little vision of where we go from here in either of the campaigns that we saw recently. There was no vision of where we were going. Now, there was some platitudes and some real stuff, don't want to discount, on how, and quite frankly, on both sides, about how we fix this economy and how we begin to create a undivided world. But when we don't begin to stop and pump the brakes and say, why do I need to go to a Black Friday? Well, how much am I going to spend between now and Christmas? Because this is just the start of it. We still got at least another 30 days of this, right? They're going to be the online sale into that sale. And then before you know it, it's been 30 days of constant buying.
Yeah. If you voted in this election because you were worried about the price of eggs, then I don't think you should be out spending excess. And that's, I mean, I don't know exactly about other countries, but I know that in the United States, it is a constant problem of people every year overspending from this time of the year to the end of the year.
Yep.
And retailers don't, well, it's their job to make it hard for you to say that's enough. Just got to get, heck, if they could, they'd fit one more big meal holiday in the month. If the retailers had their way, they would figure out a way to make December 8th or 10th or something, some major, got to have a big meal and get your whole family to travel before the holidays, between the holidays. Like, they'd add another massive thing in here if they could. And I don't want to sound like, we're just sitting here lamenting
No.
Old guys bitching about the way the life is these days. But there are some things where it feels to me like we would benefit by moving back to a more holistic, systematic, oneness perspective where we're not in competition for who gets the 4 TVs that are on super sale in the entire store, where we're not rushing the doors, where we're not camping out in the middle of the winter to get an air fryer at 10% off.
Well, it's not griping. Let me start right there. It's called a tuning bell, or a wake up call, or a knock upside the head. Sometimes they used to call it when they try to wake you up. Look at the evolution of just the language of how we wake up, right? Or how you become aware. But this whole idea of separation, right? There is no separation, which is why when you try to force it, or you more or you don't understand the flow of life, then you force these things and you create havoc. I mean, you know, and the politics here in Denver, the mayor, I don't know what possessed him to say that. I'll say this, that if the Fed came to Colorado and Denver, rather, because he's just the mayor, that they were going to he was going to prevent them from taking any immigrants. And I forget the guy who they put in the immigration charge, but he said, fine, we'll take you too, basically. So these folk mean business, right? About creating more separation and more antagonism. And so we have to begin to look at the spiritual principles of how we're going to deal, or how we should have been dealing, and how our ancestors dealt all the time. They had news, but it didn't, you know, if something happened in London, let's say 100 years ago, right, 1924,
right,
it would take me a week or so, maybe a couple of days. I don't know if they had the Morse code. I guess they did, because no, maybe not in 23. I don't know when that came out. But the point of it is, you didn't have instant news around the world on any and everything, and everybody on the street trying to make some news because they in your business with their camera. Now, some of you want them in the business because you know, sometimes somebody else's business is out of line and you need them to get them cameras. So when you go to court, you got some evidence. But they're beating you for, you know, being pulled over because your tag light is out.
There's been a story.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Finish up. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna just throw a monkey wrench in the whole show. You know, because Thanksgiving is football capital of the world, right? 3 football games yesterday. At least that, more than that, really, because they had some college games. They had 3 professional games, and bunch today, obviously, not, and it's Saturday, and we're gonna be in the mood. But I just want to take a moment for your CU Buffs. I want to give a shout out to the CU Buffs, and to go out and play with gusto today, and you know, if you got your focus right, things will happen. If you don't have your focus right, things might not happen.
Yeah, that's become the thing with the Buffs. It's like, are they focused or distracted this week? Because when they're distracted, when they're more worried about who's parking the car and every other damn, that is one thing that I think the jury is still out on the name, image, likeness.
Yeah.
Movement.
Oh my God.
I love the fact that college kids can make some money. I think I would rather see a place where the NCAA institutes a minimum wage for college athletes, and all college athletes are paid, not just the really pretty ones, and not just the ones that want to make it a big deal.
Yep.
So, but it does seem like Colorado, CU specifically, we get caught up in the hype and the celebrity a little too often, and when we do, we lose.
Well,
and
and I won't even say
and
too often because they've
okay,
only lost 3 games. They've only lost 3 games, right? But the challenge is, I think, and what we need to do is we peruse the news and information that's increasingly becoming more and more with AI coming online. Now you can get a phone that's AI ready. You can get a watch that's AI ready, right? Which is lots of energy, which kind of proves the point that it's all energy, right? No matter
yeah,
whether sound, sight, touch, smell, it's all energy vibrating at certain rates of speed to awaken something in your fantastical body to say, I see, hear, do, feel, whatever. And when you don't have that focus playing football, which is like, it's trouble because you can get
yeah,
hurt really bad out there and you need to be focused. And it's a prime example of what you can do when you focus.
yes. Okay, go Buffs. Let's go
Yep.
Buffs. Go Buffs.
Oh, yeah. Did you see that story on all of the snow up in I guess northeast, no, the lake regions?
I did not.
So so while we were getting 3 feet of snow up in the mountains here,
Right.
they're gonna get about 3 feet of snow over in up around Plattsville, New York, and kind of close to the lake, not so close to Syracuse, but up there. But the weather, and then they had all that rain on the. We have to begin to look. I would ask everybody to go out and bring up the cabinet list, right? And
Mhm.
research a little bit. You ain't got to do a lot of it. Do a little bit of understanding who that person is, what they've done, where they went to school, who they hung out with, what kind of bills or whatever kind of they've done in terms of political. Not going nobody's lifestyle, but look at their political work, and that's what they've been hired to do or appointed to do. Now, if they start getting compromised, then we'll go there, right? That's what happened to Gates. But
Right.
we have to begin to look at these people on their merits. And there's that saying from they said from Maya Angelou, if they show you who they are or tell you who they are the first time, then believe them, right? Just because I go put on a long tail tux, that doesn't change where I was born and raised in Florida, North Florida. Certain type of energy going on there. So we got as news watchers, as information gatherers, as information disseminators, we have to begin to be more inquisitive. We have to step back into the mystery of life. I mean, think about it. I got up this morning, I took some stuff and put it on the thing and hit a button, and I got coffee in about 3 minutes.
Yep. Okay, I'm with you. And it's really tough to be in the wonder of the mystery when you have people like Sylvester Stallone saying that Donald Trump is the second coming of George Washington. Like, come on, what the?
This is what happens when you get out of balance, for sure. Look,
That's
see,
that's like a snowstorm in July. That shit ain't supposed to happen.
but this is what happens when you create these images, right? Everything in life is an image. And when you get stuck in an old image, because it gives you a certain kind of feeling or energy or vibe or whatever you want to call it, and you are afraid to step into the mystery, now you got a problem because now you create this, right? You create this whole environment that we got right now that is all about me because I don't want you to see my insecurities, my frailties, my faults, my whatever that everybody got, right? And how do I begin to reconcile this stuff? And like, okay, we've all had our ups and downs, but we don't let unless you had a really, really bad fall and you got to get a cast on your leg, so to speak, and sit down and think about it. We all got it. So we have to begin to look at life that way. And Sylvester Stallone, he's part of the Black Friday movement. He's selling product. Now, and see, here's the dichotomy. Because there is no separation, there's only one thing. If you can't get it in balance, anytime one of the things are going to pop up higher or more in charge or more charged than the other.
Yeah.
And that's where we are right now. We're charged on the side of death, destruction, and disrespect.
Well, all right. So here comes our metaphysical piece.
Light information carrier.
Here comes our metaphysical piece, folks. If you've been waiting for it this morning, because like what I think you're speaking to here, from my perspective, is people's either disregard for, complete lack of emotional intelligence. Mm-hmm. All we're doing,
without a doubt,
everywhere I see it, it's about me and mine and my feelings. And fewer and fewer people are, well, all right, how do I want to say this? I would like to see a lot more people wake up to the we us perspective, to the perspective of we're all in this together. And if you're hurting, then it's not my job to justify that why it isn't my fault that you're hurting. And it isn't my job to blame you for your hurting. And we have to get to a place, I believe, as human beings, where you're more important to me than me. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a divine flow. There's an integrated energy. You know, you were saying emotional awareness. I mean, it's energy awareness too, because your whole body is a piece of energy.
Yeah.
Right. If I need some energy to start my heart again, right? So we have to really begin, as we say, you got to understand the universal laws and principles that work in this environment. Now, you know, on the moon, a little something different happened, right? They just showed the thing about Sunny, the young lady that's up there, and Dan, forget that, Butch, I think Butch, up on the space station, was supposed to be there, what, 3 days or something like that, and now they're going to be there. They've already been there like 176. They're going to be there till February. There was a song, and I don't know if you know, by Gil Scott-Heron. And I forget the title right now, but there's a lyric in it. A rat done bit my sister Nail and Whitey on the moon, right? I think the song might be, it might be Whitey on the moon.
Okay.
But I thought about that when we look at what we're doing with the passenger space. Last week they had another 3 to 6 astronauts go up in the Blue Horizon, I think it is, and do the thing and see the Earth and for 10 minutes and come back down.
Right.
It's an amazing thing that we have the ability to figure out how to get off the planet and go to another planet, but so little regard of the beautiful one we live on. And we're looking at these places that are nowhere, nothing compared to what we got here. And they're trying to get off, as opposed to respecting what we got.
Right. It is tough to think that the overall plan is abandon Earth and colonize Mars.
Yes. And this story was told. I mean, there's countless books about this, and that you know, people just disrespect everything. And now is, you know, and here's the other systemic dynamic flow piece. We think, or we have come to believe, that cause and effect are closely related. However, cause and effect are not closely related. And they dumped Agent Orange in the jungles of Vietnam to help kill the foliage. They had no idea what the long-term effect of that was going to be.
And do we
50
even
years later,
still know exactly what the long-term effects are going to be? Because that stuff could, right? We could be seeing the effects for a couple more generations on that. I like how you say that. Yes, we teach cause and effect. People talk about it all the time. It's becoming a prevalent part of people's operating systems, and or at least the awareness of it. But you're right. It is not instantaneous. It is not the flick of a switch. It is, we're used to flicking the switch and the lights come on. But cause and effect often has some time in between. Time it takes to embody, the time it takes to practice, the time it takes to come to really believe a new truth. Yeah.
Now, when I think about it, so I love this show called The Voice, where they have the coaches and the people come on and they sing and you can't see them, and then they pick you and then they try to get you to the pinnacle of the show. This year they got Snoop Dogg, Michael Bublé, Gwen Stefani, and Reba McEntire as the coaches. And I'm watching them, I tape it and watch it when I want to and skip through what I don't want to. But to sit there and think about, now there's a 14-year-old boy on there that's fantastic. There's a 17-year-old girl that's fantastic. There's a bunch of them that are fantastic, right? And some of them some serious challenges to overcome to get to that point.
Right.
And when I was watching it and think about a perfect example, just that story of what life is about and how we have to really begin to understand the universal law that they're not always close in effect. These people, the 14-year-old, there was something happened early, either from the spirit level or in his environment, community, what we're talking about, that this boy was killer. He sung a Michael Jackson song, Man in the Mirror, Kill It. We have to begin to look at that man in the mirror and that woman in the mirror again at all levels, because the news is going to get crazy and crazy. I got friends now say don't even watch the news no more.
I can't say that I sit down and consume and watch the news. I don't sit down at 6 o'clock and watch the evening news. I don't sit down at 10 or 11 and watch the evening news. I gather snippets and bits from various locations and outlets. Yes, I think the concept of watching the news is falling away, and people are more reliant on the snippet and the TikTok, the headline, and unfortunately, there's so many various actors out there anymore that want to sway people's opinions. That how many times have we talked about how hard it is to know what the truth really is from the headlines and the snippets? But if all I'm reading is the headline and the snippets, I don't get the nuance of the story. I don't get the deeper understanding of the story. I don't,
well, that's the challenge. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, that's the challenge, right? We don't read anymore.
Right.
We don't read anymore.
It's almost,
libraries closing.
It's almost as if
you could say. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, it's almost as if you have to make the news or current events a full-time endeavor to sift through all that's out there to be able to figure out what's real and what's not real. And it's not like you can trust Walter Cronkite anymore, whoever is in Walter's seat, right? It's not like the days of Dan Rather, and you felt confident that regardless of what side their personal opinions were, the news was news. It was
They did their job, so to speak, as they say.
right. And today, I don't think we have news. I think we have propaganda, snippets of propaganda.
I would say we have. I would say we have newsatainment. You know,
And that's a problem, because if you find the news is not supposed to be entertaining.
not really.
I do not want to. I don't want to feel all the emotions in my life. I don't want to feel happy, sad in the same half hour with the news. I want the news to inform me of what's going on and how I need to be informed to craft opinion, not to swing between, oh, isn't that wonderful, and bawling out in tears. That's entertainment.
And here's where I believe the energetic or the energy intelligence comes in. Because if people can get beyond all this other crap that we're just talking about and get in a vulnerable spot, from a feeling when you're in the right place or the wrong place, whatever that may look like, whether it's ask a question in a building, taking a trip, answer yes or no, doesn't matter.
Right.
When you get a real good energetic hit that says yes. Now, if you're not good at reading your energy, if you don't have good energy intelligence or emotional intelligence, because those two go together, that emotion is going to fire energy, that energy is going to fire emotion. Now, we have to begin to really, what we all talk about is awareness. The idea, the concept of awareness has to be sharpened, because we are taking over 1 billion bits of information into our bodies every second through the skin, the brain, the eyes, but we only processing maybe 100,000 of that. We got to get it down to an image. That's why we talk about this whole idea of creating an image, having a vision through some visioning process, meditating process, contemplation process. Because if that doesn't happen, this news cycle will continue. And if you're not reading and watching, because as soon as I create an image in your mind from the news, anything I tell you, I can get it right down that line, and you're not going to see anything, hear anything, or believe anything else.
Right.
Like you said earlier, we got to get back to the balanced, holistic way of life on every aspect: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And when we can do that and know that it's a balancing act, right? I'm going to get out of balance. And then I got to, that's why when bringing back that voice, to think about the practice that they had to do. And when you look at some of them, it's a 2-week period. It took a 2-week period to take them from the raw cells. Some of them were better than others because they had been doing some professional. But when you look at the transformation of what 2 weeks of coaching and training and living in an environment, now they came with the skills and the work ethic. But if you go look at, and you can go look at it on YouTube, look at some of the semifinals of the boys. Each coach had 5 people. They had to get it down to 8, right? So there was some great people that went home. But when you look at life, that's life.
You have to give life dedicated, consistent effort. Yes.
Got to practice.
How do we get to Carnegie Hall? Exactly.
now, every once in a while, you get somebody who feels the energy. This is a perfect example, like Allen Iverson. When they still use that commercial. He was in something, and I think his friend had passed away or something. He had missed practice, and the guy was telling him about practice? You asking me about practice, and I'm dealing with this, right? News cycle again, right? They're trying to find
Right.
something to ding him to bring him down, and he
Right.
and so now they use that because Allen Iverson was one of the natural. I mean, the dude was a quarterback. I think he ran track. He was a basketball. He could have. They were recruiting him heavier for football than they were for basketball.
Right.
But it shows that sometimes when you get in tune with yourself, regardless of what the world looks like around you, you can go through stuff. And he went through some stuff. Everybody respects Allen Iverson in terms of basketball skill and focus and just raw energetic ability, which we all have, which we have to watch the news and see what fires to put us in one or the other, if there's no other way for you to do it, and figure out what is mine to do. Who am I? Why am I? And get it done.
That is, yes. Who am I? Why am I? And now let's go get it done.
Yeah. And these news cycles, you look at these things, they're in my mind, they're creating a one-sided story, because that's what it is. It becomes a story, right? And everybody loves the drama, and it just goes on and on. So we keep it going on and on. But not many people doing the work anymore. We're just caught up in the drama of it. But when you call to do the work, the discipline is not there. The commitment is not there. The vision is not strong enough. So sooner or later, it's not going to take much to derail them. So, you know,
we're getting a bit of a lag.
Did you watch any of the parade? Did you watch any of the parade?
No, I don't really watch it. Yeah, I don't watch it. To me, that's and especially being here now on the West Coast, on Western time zones, it's kind of like I can lie here on the couch and watch a parade, or I can get a couple hours worth of sleep. I think I'm going for the sleep. I've seen balloons get pulled down the street before, so but I want to
go ahead.
I just want to swing back, because it feels to me like New Thought does have the answer as far as the practices to help us get to a point of understanding vision, mission, and purpose.
Or at least a answer.
Yeah, right? I can't say that my calling feels the same as it did 20 years ago. And I know my mission is different than it was 20 years ago. And the vision's the same. I just see it from a different way now. And New Thought as a whole gives us great opportunity. It was born of the self-healing movement, but I think that self-healing, while it is always a very necessary and first step, you can actually get the self-healing almost anywhere at this point. But a dedicated practice to help us understand our individual unique purpose, mission, and vision allows us to contribute to the greater whole. I can't give to the greater whole if I don't know what my personal vision is. I can't give to the greater whole if I don't have a sense of mission. Now that mission may be accomplished and I may need to take on a new mission, and that's okay. That doesn't change the vision. Might change how I interpret or how I see the vision, how I come to understand the vision. And at one time I might think the vision is telling me this, but it's only after practice, after some time, after some work, after some trials and tribulations, I realized that, I was seeing that with clouded eyes. I was seeing that with a biased perspective. And now that I'm woke, now that I'm awakened, now that I have a newer.
Don't use the wrong term.
Now that I can see, the night doesn't look so dark. You ever have that, right? You get up in the middle of in the middle of the night, and whether you need a drink of water or you need to get rid of some water, you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't see a damn thing.
Triple
But
darkness.
but just give it a minute, and your eyes adjust, and you can start to see with what light there is. And then what do? We go over and we turn on more, and we add some more light to the situation, so we have a better perspective. Right now, yeah, things look dark for many. Right now, and our society, our culture has made it really easy to look at life from that barely able to see type of lens. We can, even as woke as we think we are, even as bright as we think the truth might be, we are looking at this whole thing through squinted eyes in the middle of the night when what we really need is go pee.
And that's a great segue, again, to show this balance. We talk about light, and then we started off talking about Black Friday and blackness. It isn't, but when you wake up at that triple darkness moment and you can't physically see, your senses pick up. You begin to feel the cold space between the bed and the dresser, right? If you get in tune, right? And so it is out of that moment that you begin to understand that there's this opposite end of this thing called light. So there is no one against the other. One can't exist without the other.
Right.
So when you start ignoring a whole half of a whole, now we got a real serious problem, because at some point that half is going to deceive you or run out or get whatever, and now you're going to be up a creek. You made the great point. If anybody is remembering Alan Watts right now, Alan Watts says, as you just so elegantly put out there, we have to live life in oscillation. We have to live at the micro, the macro, and in the practice level. And it has to be up and down constantly, because we're constantly transforming, seeing, and in those vantage points, we see from different perspectives, overview, detail, did it work? You get a chance to do that. But we get stuck in, I got to go sleep outside tonight to go get Black Friday. For what? Not to pick on Black Friday, for those who like Black Friday. I mean, we all got our energy charged. but there's the opposite energy.
Yeah, I don't think anybody actually likes Black Friday, except maybe the accountants. I can't see how retailers like it. I don't think anybody actually likes it. I think we've just been brainwashed into thinking we're separate. We don't have enough. There isn't enough. I got to get mine. I can get more if I can get this cheaper, I can get more, and everybody can have more. But that's where we started the program, and we've run out of time, folks.
Oh, I like it the way we go full circle, 360.
Yes. And what I heard there is, in today's culture, Thanksgiving wouldn't be Thanksgiving without Black Friday. In today's culture, they both seem to be necessary because they're both still happening. I wonder if Canada does this. Does Canada have, like, I got to call somebody in Canada later today, or any of our Canadian colleagues that are watching. Is there or other countries? Because I know other countries have their version of Thanksgiving. It's not built on the same principle, same outcome or whatever you want to call it. But they have. I wonder if Canada has Black Friday. I got to find that. All right, there's our homework, folks. It's Black Friday in America. Go do a little. Let's check in on our Canadian friends today and find out, do they go through this kind of madness in Canada or not? Or are people just like, yeah, we got enough. I don't need another damn TV.
Yeah. What is the opposite side of giving grace and being thankful?
100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. Yes.
We express it as go spend some more money.
And I'd rather it was go rake somebody's leaves or go. I would love to see Black Friday be more of a community spirited. Okay, you're full up a turkey, you got plenty of energy, come work some of it off by helping your local town or your neighbor, or help paint a fence or dig a ditch or do some sort of community or just personal service to your neighbors or your friends, and that's a bigger movement than we've got time for here today. So, folks, we are in like triple secret overtime, which means we really ought to wrap this up for today. Let you get into your Black Friday. I trust you're not sitting in line waiting to get into a store somewhere, but are home cozy watching this. If you're watching on a replay, thanks for watching on the replay as well. And folks, remember, we got a full day of broadcasting here today on New Thought Media Network. Check out all of our programming. Get Rich 101 with Sekou Wrights comes up next. Morning prayers are at 8:15. 8:30 is the morning sip with Rev Melissa. 9 o'clock, Emma Moreno with Spanish language programming. 9:30 is our Spanish language prayers. Later today at 1 o'clock, it's the Joy Show with the Reverend Barbara Jean. And Barbara Jean is also our host of the Good News this evening. I am on vacation, so I'm kind of off work this week. So Barbara Jean will be our host on the Good News. Reverend Michael with the Fireside Chat at 6. And we wrap it all up with evening prayers tonight at 8:15. So we want to thank you for being with us on behalf of myself and Rev Z. We want to wish you peace and absolute richest blessings. Bye now. And there's our exit video.
And thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ministers Talking. We'll be back again next week with more commentary on current affairs, world events, and any other our ministers want to talk about. And if you found value here, please share our with your friends. Until next time, peace and blessings.